This craft project allows you to make 3D shapes that kids can assemble out of paper. You'll need a piece of glass to cut on, some cardstock or cover stock, either plain white or in colors, a razor knife, which you can get at most home improvement stores, glue stick, binder clips. These can be any size. We'll end up producing these, which can be assembled, and all the kids are going to need will be the glue stick and the binder clips. Those are all the physical materials we need. Now let's set up the software. So first we're going to go to papermodel.com, and then we can get the latest version. If we just click on this MSI, it'll download. So we go to our downloads folder, right click, install, and follow the prompts to set up. So when we start up PaperCut, it will by default have a photo cube. We don't need to do that right now. We're going to close it. We'll go ahead to Shape, Create, and we're going through the Archimedean solids. We'll do a truncated. We've already done the truncated octahedron. We're going to do the buckyball, which is a truncated icosahedron, also called a soccer ball. So we click on that, and we can see there are 16 pages. There's a lot of faces in this. This has 32 faces, and it's going to take up 16 pages at the current scale. If we want to see what the scale looks like, we can go to Print Preview, and this is going to show us what the printed pages will look like. You can see there's a series of alternating hexagons and pentagons. But we're going to, before we print it, we'll add a couple of things to it. If we wanted to, I can single click to go to the different groups. Let's get back to page 1. There we go. So now we're back on the first group on page 1. And we will set the face text. So truncated icosahedron basically has the vertices snipped off in a way that creates a series of alternating hexagons and pentagons. And this is an Archimedean solid. So we can just copy this text, Control C, and we'll put it on some other faces. So we have it labeled in just a few places. Now we're going to do one other thing. We will try dropping some pictures. So I could take some pictures here, just any old pictures from a photo album, and I can just drop a picture here. There you go. And that's going to actually print out in color or black and white, depending on which printer I use. And that's it, basically. If I want to save my shape that I've made with the annotations and photos, I can save it, and it's going to save this SHP file, and I'll be able to open it later if I want to print it again or send it to someone else. If it has photos, I would also need to have the photos in the same path. Now we're just going to go ahead and print this. Print. I'm printing this on a black and white printer. There are going to be 16 pages, so this is a fairly big shape. It's going to end up being pretty big. You know, what we could do is, let's say we're going to make this smaller. So I could change the scale. If I change the size, let's say I change the scale from 14 down to say 9.8. Now it's down to 6 pages. If we do the print preview, we can see that we now have more pieces on each page, and this is basically how they end up being broken down. So 6 pages is good. We'll go ahead and go with that. And if I want to change the print properties, let's say I want to have it print from a different feed, I want to come from the stack bypass on my printer, I can do that. And then I'll go ahead and print. And that's it. And then we'll go on to the next stage. Now that we've got everything printed out, we're ready to cut everything. We'll use the razor knife over glass. Glass provides a relatively slick surface, which makes it easy to rotate the paper as you're cutting, and the razor knife will get dull eventually, but lasts longer over glass. You could also use a cutting mat, which is meant for cutting, but I find the glass is a better surface. After cutting each piece, turn the razor knife over and use the back dull edge to score each fold. Fold the tabs first, then fold along the other lines. Older kids may be able to do their own folding, especially if you've already taken the trouble to score everything. Gluing together all of these separate pieces helps keep everything together. It reduces the chance that something would get lost. Once you're done, you have something that's ready to hand off to the kids and let them spend lots of time finishing the assembly.